today. Pat, after Saturday's game, you had talked about trying to flush that and move ahead and put it behind you. Do you think what you've seen so far in the last couple of days that's taking place?
Yeah, we moved on. Obviously, it stinks starting the season off with a loss, but we moved on. We're focused on Ohio State right now. Obviously, it's a big week, and everyone knows what's at stake, and we're focused on Ohio State and preparing for them.
Tyler Donahue.
Good morning, Pat. Something that we didn't ask you after the game, I'd like to address now, is that you have that record now among Penn State tight ends for touchdowns. To get that done on the first drive, I know you want the win. I know you always want the win, but can you take a second to reflect on accomplishing that as an individual? And also, do you hear it all from Mike Gesicki in the past 48 hours?
Yeah, obviously, like you said, I wish, we ended up with a win at the game, but obviously, taking some time to reflect on it, it's obviously a great accomplishment for myself, and not only myself but for the team. I mean, I couldn't have gotten where I got breaking that record without Coach Bowen and Coach Franklin and Cliff and Trace and Tommy even throwing me that ball one time, and I'm thankful and appreciative for the whole program and the whole staff who helped me get to this point of being able to break that record, and it's a great honor to be a record holder at Penn State in such a great established program. I'm always going to be blessed to be a part of this program, and breaking that record means the world. But obviously I still have to continue to work and put my head down and grind. And there's more records to be broken. I've heard from Mike, and he texted me and reached out and said, "Congratulations, man! Like, keep going." And I'm really appreciative of him, and I'm just really appreciative of the whole program.
Joe Giuliano.
Good morning, Pat. Last 2 years, you guys have given Ohio State great games. A 1-point game your freshman year. What is the feeling like after a game like that where you've come so close, and what do you have to do this year to finally get over the hump?
Yeah, obviously it's disappointing, being so close, but then ended up losing the game both years that I've been here against Ohio State, and that was part of the reason why I came back, is to get that opportunity to beat them. I'm excited for this week, and I'm excited to prepare for Ohio State, and I'm excited to get that opportunity Saturday night on prime time to hopefully go out and showcase what our team really is like, and how we can play and what we're capable of, and I'm just ready to go out there and prove that.
We'll go to Audrey Snyder.
Good morning, Pat. Wanted to ask you a little bit more about Brenton Strange. I know you've talked about him before a little bit, but we saw both you guys on the field together a fair amount Saturday night. What's impressed you about Brenton's progressions?
Yeah, Brenton's really mature. He came in and he had a tough time like last year as a freshman, kind of gaining knowledge of the offense. But switching over to the new offense with Coach Soraka, and he's done a great job just kind of putting his mind where he really wants to go, and he has goals that he wants to reach, and I've been pushing him to work harder to get those goals, and I think he's done a great job. You just got to continue to grind and practice every single day as hard as you can, and just keep pushing each other and pushing myself, and I'm going to continue to push him, and he's done a great job so far. I'm excited to see what he can do the rest of the season.
Mark Brennan.
Pat, what was it like for you to see a couple of young guys in Parker and Keandre kind of step up and do some things, especially Parker with what was a very key catch at the moment?
Yeah, they've shown that all camp, and I'm excited for them that they got to showcase it on national television, and their best football's ahead, and I'm excited to see what they can do this Saturday. And as for it was funny because Keandre, before he went in for the first drive, he looked at me. He was like, "Pat, I'm really nervous." And I'm like, "Dude, you just relax. You're playing football. Just think about playing football in your backyard again, and why you love the game." And Keandre went out and did his thing, and same with Parker. And their best football's ahead, and they have a really bright future. They just got to continue to work and get better.
Rick Pickle.
Good morning, Pat. When you watched the film, what jumped out at you as some of the biggest positives as you move now into practice week for Ohio State?
There are a lot of positives on the film. I know we gained, I think, 400 and something yards on offense, and we were 53% on third down. We executed majority of our plays. We just got to continue, and we just can't shoot ourselves in the foot. We got to take care of the ball, and the ball's the program and all. So, there's a lot of positives on the film, but we just continue to work and take those negatives and make them positives.
Wogenrich.
Pat, you said you were looking forward to showcasing what you're capable of. One, what is that? Two, on a whiteout Saturday night, what song or what sound are you most looking forward to hear, even though it might be an empty stadium?
Yeah, I think we're capable of, a lot of things. I think that we're capable of, protecting the ball. I think we're capable of being one of the most explosive offense in the country. We're just capable of making plays, and we're making big time plays and big time moments, and that's what I think kind of lacked Saturday. And I think that we gotta work this week to be able to make those big time plays and big time moments. And I think this is the great opportunity to do that against the number 3 team in the country or 4 or whatever, and in prime time. I think it's a great opportunity for us to showcase what we can do in the whole offense. And obviously, I'm excited to just kind of be back in Beaver Stadium in a game atmosphere, going against another opponent. And the most sound I'm looking forward to is that the pregame whole the when we're supposed to kick off the Lion King thing or whatever. I'm excited for that.
Rich Carcella.
Pat, outside an undefeated season, have any of your long range or big picture goals changed for this season?
No. Everything's still right in front of us. We got to be 1-0 this week and continue to do that. If we can accomplish that goal, going 1-0 this week, our goals are still ahead of us, as a Big Ten championship and hopefully making that college football playoff. But we have a lot of work to do to get to that point. And, what Coach Franklin says is 100% correct. We have to go 1-0 every single day and every single week. And that starts off this week.
Joe Giuliano.
Pat, after a rocky start, Sean Clifford came back in the second half and really carried you guys. What was it? Did you talk to him at all at halftime about, hey, everything's good, settle down, or was it just something he brought upon himself to make sure that things got better in the second half for him and your team?
I think it's something that, he brought upon himself. No one really Cliff was the one at halftime, along with me and Bennett, telling the offense, let's go, and same with Coach Rocker and really the whole offensive staff. But Cliff brought that upon himself, and I think that Cliff, that's why he's a great leader and a great quarterback for this program. He knew he wasn't playing well, and he knew that he had to do something to spark this team and get us back on track, and he did that. But he knows that he needs to be more consistent. Like I said, after the game, he's going to be his own toughest critic. So he was in the film room the next morning, right after the game, and obviously that night too, watching the film. And he texted me Sunday about Ohio State already, and I haven't even watched Ohio State on Sunday until he texted me. So we push each other to be great, and he's ready to go this week.
Tyler Donahue.
And if this team is going to move towards Saturday or maybe even beyond without the top 2 guys that we anticipated at running back, what gives you confidence that the backfield's going to be okay? We got an early look at those 2 freshmen. Devin Ford didn't have the start he wanted, I know, at the end of that game. But why do you think that things will be okay if Journey and Noah aren't available for the indefinite future?
Yeah, that whole running back room's great, and I think Coach Sider done a great job recruiting talent into that room, and I think there's an expectation in that room that to be great, with Saquon and Miles and JB and all the other guys that left a legacy there. They have to follow in the grades, and that goes way back too. So I think that Coach Sider does a great job upholding that standard, and I think that the young guys have really kind of embraced that and come in and work every single day, and I'm excited to see what Devin does this week, and same with Kevon and same with Kazan.
Nate Bauer.
Pat, when you guys evaluated the penalties offensively on Saturday, what did you see? Were some of them judgment calls? Were they blatant? How did that kind of fall out?
Yeah, at the end of the day, penalties are penalties, and it's not my place to agree or disagree with them. But they were called, and we have to live with them, and that's something that Coach Franklin, obviously that was another negative that I forgot, but Coach Franklin really was heavy on us on that on Sunday, kind of preaching that that's not us. I think in the last 6 years, we averaged, total for the whole 6 years, I think it was 4.6 penalties per game or something like that. And we had 10 Saturday. That's not up to Penn State football, and that's not how we play. So, we really have to work on that and be disciplined in this week of practice. And those little things about pre-snap penalties and holds and, my offensive pass interference. I can't be doing that. we just got to continue to work and make sure that we are disciplined in practice so it translates over to the game on Saturday.
Rich Scarcella.
Pat, Ohio State lost quite a few players to the NFL on defense, especially. What do you see from their defense this year, and are they very different than you've seen in the past, from what you've seen in the past?
No, they're not different at all, really. I mean, they do the same defensive scheme, one high. They mix in some two high, and, they bring their fire zones and all that. And I mean, they're a physical team, and they have athletes everywhere, regardless of who leaves for the NFL. They're always going to bring in that next top guy, and that's a testament to Coach Day and the Ohio State program to, recruit the way they do. But they're going to be fast. They're going to be explosive in every aspect of it, like they always are. So we're going to have to be ready for that. We're going to have to be ready for those body shots. Like it's going to be a boxing match to go back and forth. And I'm excited for this Saturday, and I'm excited to see what the offense can do. But Ohio State is going to be fast every single year, and they're going to be strong every single year. But we just have to exploit them and their weaknesses.
Frank Bodani.
Yeah, Pat, you talked about being more disciplined and overcoming the mistakes. I mean, what do you do different this week? I mean, how do you go about doing that so quickly? And how confident are you in that?
Yeah, I think that one thing is, if we make a penalty in practice or, it goes back to accountability, like we have to address it at that moment. So like if for example, like if I'm slacking off in practice and I, slack on a rep and I hold someone just to kind of get the play going, I have to hold myself accountable to that, and I can't be practicing like that. And that's the same goes for the O-line and the receivers. And we just have to hold each other accountable. If we see someone slacking off and not running their routes the correct way or holding or anything like that, or offensive pass interference in practice, then we got to hold each other accountable and kind of address that and say, instead of doing that, do this. And I think it's very obtainable to reach that goal and this week in practice and be more disciplined, because it's not really an option. It's kind of, we need to do that to win games, and we can't have 10 penalties a game and expect to win. So it's kind of a demand that we bring upon ourselves to clean up those mistakes.
Joe Giuliano.
Pat, you got to play in one whiteout a couple of years ago. What was that like? And could you imagine what a Halloween whiteout would have looked like at Beaver Stadium Saturday?
Yeah, I mean, the whiteouts are crazy. I mean, like I said before multiple times, like it's really hard to describe, a Penn State whiteout. And, I'm definitely going to miss those fans and everything. But, and a whiteout Penn State on Halloween weekend would have been absolutely insane. But, just like we preached this whole camp and everything, it goes back to the love of the love of the game of football. Just kind of, playing in your backyard again. And it's going to be weird without the fans, and I'm going to definitely miss the whiteout. But, I'm excited to play against Ohio State. It was kind of just Ohio State versus Penn State, no outside noise, no nothing, and just kind of put the football down and play.
Tobias.
Obviously the kid is 6'2" and very talented, but outside of that, what makes Joey Porter Jr. so special?
Yeah, Joey, I mean, obviously that sack was really good, and I mean he was locking people down in coverage, and I think Joey is a great football player, and he has all the talent in the world to become whatever he wants to be. I know he wants to be an All-American. I know he wants to be a first-round pick, and he wants to be one of the best corners to ever play here, and he has all the tools, and he has the work ethic to do that. So we just got to demand excellence every single day out of himself, and I've seen improvement. I mean, freshman Joey to this year's Joey is just two different people. I mean, he works so hard now, and I think the quarantine kind of helped him, kind of being with his dad, and his dad pushing him harder and showing him what it's like to kind of reach that goal and what he has to do. And he came back ready to work, and he came back ready to, push the other corners and show what he can do. And, this is his time now, and I'm excited to see what he does the rest of the year.
Nate Bauer.
Pat, just for my clarification, even with COVID, I'm assuming you guys still have officials at all your practices. And how tight do they call it at practice?
Yeah, I mean, we don't have the normal amount of officials. I think we have like 2 per field, maybe. I have no idea. But, I mean, they call it tight. They call penalties and everything. So, we know when there's penalties. So, I mean, like I said, we're going to have to hold each other accountable and just not put ourselves in a position to get penalties.
Rich Scarcella.
Pat, I don't think I hit the button, Mark. I'm good. Thanks. Or Paul, I'm good.
Okay, we'll go to Mark Brennan.
Pat, there was a lot of talk when Coach Shiraka was hired that he didn't use tight ends. And then you go out and have that sort of game. Were you guys looking to prove something, or is that just kind of the way things unfolded in that particular game?
No, I mean, we've said throughout the whole quarantine media sessions, and we want to get our playmakers the ball, and I've kind of shown that I'm a playmaker for this offense. And at the end of the day, Coach Rock is going to get his playmakers the ball. So that's was the plan for the game, and that's going to be the plan for the whole season. Just kind of get me, Han, and all the receivers and the people that make plays, get them the ball. And so, there wasn't really anything really to prove. That's just kind of how the offense rolls, and kind of what we do now.
Parth.
Hey, Pat, what's going on? How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Pretty well. At the end of last season, you kind of mentioned that not making the semifinalist list for the Mackey Award was kind of bulletin board material for you. Wanted to ask, is that still the case? And what are some other things that you kind of have pegged to your wall, so to speak?
Yeah. So it's still my wallpaper on my phone, and obviously it's above my bed right now. Just kind of my 3 goals is obviously break all the records for tight ends here at Penn State, be an All-American and win the Mackey Award, and I just got to continue to do what I can control, and and be that guy who on offense who just is relentless on the 3 phases that we always talk about is pass pro and run blocking and routes, and I just got to keep working and being consistent in all 3 of those phases to give myself the best chance to obtain all those goals.
Pat Principe.
Hey, Pat, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Really good. Hey, I think one of the keys to playing a team the caliber of Ohio State is that you have to kind of make them sweat early in the game. Is that the kind of mindset that you have to go into this game with, that you got to put some doubt in them early on?
That's with every game. I feel like you want to start, jump out and start to a fast start. I think we did that against Indiana our first drive, obviously with scoring, but we have to be more consistent, just kind of applying the pressure. And I think not only with Ohio State, but every team. And I think especially with Ohio State, you can't just say we're going to jump off to a fast start and that's going to be it. We have to stay consistent and put up points and continue to apply pressure on their defense. So you're definitely right about coming out to a fast start, but we have to be more consistent throughout the whole game, especially against Ohio State.
Time for 2 more. We'll go to Nubias Wilborn.
I know this may be hard considering obviously you didn't get the results you wanted, but when you go back and look at that film from Indiana, what, if any, positives do you take from that game?
Like I said earlier, we were 53% on 3rd down. We were explosive on that first drive, and we have to be more consistent like that, like I just said. And I think that we have to just kind of crack down on the little details, and when we get tired and when the game's kind of, we're on those long drives, we have to go back to our details and execute, and we got to finish in the red zone. But there were a lot of positives, and playmakers made plays and all that. So I think we have to be just more consistent.
Last question, Audrey Snyder.
Pat, as you guys went through and made your corrections, what was Kirk Shiraka like as you guys are going through that? How did he kind of break it down or relay the information to you guys to make the corrections? What was his temperament and demeanor like?
Obviously, he wasn't, the most happy person breaking down the film with us. But he just showed us a couple plays where, if we did what we were supposed to do, if we did what we were supposed to do, like one guy in the play, then it would have been a big play. And we just have to, he just showed us that we have to continue to, apply pressure and kind of be like on point in every single play, because you never know if your block or your route or whatever it is may be on that play is going to change the game. So we have to continue to just kind of be held accountable every single play and just kind of, go back to our details that he's taught us and our coaches have taught us.